Good afternoon, Sir Kevin. Sir Kevin,
Sir Kevin.
okay lang po ba kahit walang cam?
If you're already in, can you try speaking? Just say hello or something.
Hello.
So,
Hello, Sir Kevin.
Oh, okay. There we go. I hear you. Wait, I just need to fix something in my audio. I can hear.
Sir Kevin. Sir Kevin, may I ask?
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, sir.
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Finally, I figured out the problem. Ako pala hindi nag-join. So, how are you guys doing this afternoon? Oh, I see Jason and RC and right. I think I need to approve more people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, so there's several of you. So congratulations for making it. I'm just letting people in right now. Okay, so I guess that's everyone. So how are you guys doing?
Fine.
Doing good, sir.
So yeah, today's topic is about setting goals.
Ang lakas sa electric fan.
Ninong fan yun?
May
Si
binabagyo.
Kay
Ako. Sinabagyo
Fine.
ata.
Kaya, okay na.
Okay. Ayan.
All right.
Hindi na. Okay lang yata yan.
So, by the way, in case you're using Zoom for the first time, we also have chat here. So if you want to respond via chat, you just need to click chat there somewhere. Where is? You'll find the chat at the bottom. So
Okay.
yeah. So just quick check. How many guys are employed? And how many of you are looking for work?
Ako po.
Also me.
Me too. Me too,
looking
Sir
for-
Kevin.
Looking for work.
Ako din po.
Looking for work.
We all working for work.
Okay, looking for work. So setting goals. And yeah, let's just wait for the others. So looking for work, employed, looking for work, looking for work. Okay, so we have a lot of people who are looking for work. Right. Does everyone understand Taglish or English here? Because I can see names that look foreign. Like, do you all understand Filipino?
Wow.
Do you want the session to be all English, or do you want the session to be a little Taglish, or who wants to go all English? Raise your hands. Oh, I get English. Okay,
My
sure,
God,
fine.
naman.
I'll speak in English.
Liter English, liter Taglish.
Little Taglish. All right, no problem. So if I'm going too
Sir
fast,
Kevin.
let me know. If you're too shy, just let me know in the chat. The admin is here with me, and we'll be watching the chat as well. Yeah, so let me just share my screen. I created this small presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Let's share screen. Then. Okay, so can you see my screen? Like, can you see the title?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so the topic is, oh, There's one more person coming in. Welcome. Wow. Okay. Give me tips about how to pass a mock call. Yeah, I have a guide. So Claudine, send me an email. I'll send you a link to the. I'll send you a link to the guide. I shot a video on how to pass the mock call. I also wrote a step-by-step guide, so I'll send you that guide. So if any of you want a copy of that guide, just send me an email. Just send me a request that you'd like a copy of the guide to the mock call. And yeah, for today's session, we're not gonna take very long because Zoom only has a limited time. So today's topic is about goal setting and how to get your dream job. So earlier I asked the question if you're employed or if you're looking for a job. So if you're looking for a job, it's really important for you to set goals so you can do a good job. Because if you're not setting goals while you're looking for work, the tendency is you're going to say yes to the first option that comes along. And based on experience, the first option that comes along is, what do you call that? Isn't very good.
My goal is to get hired in a BPO industry.
Okay.
That
so
is
your
for
goal
me,
is to get
Mr.
hired
Kevin.
in BPO. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let me put that on the chat. BPO.
Be successful
Want to
someday.
get a client on my own. VA as well. By the way, if you're
I
not
want to pass my mock call to the site outside.
It's your mess.
Why is everyone is so noisy? Yeah, I can hear properly the voice of Sir Kevin.
There you go. So I hit everyone's mute button. So if you want to speak, you can just hit unmute and then press mute again. So we can proceed. All right.
Right, sir.
Yes,
Let's go
Mr.
test that.
Kevin.
Unmute, say yes, and then mute again. Okay, cool. So I see here, I want to get hired in the BPO industry. I want to get hired in Upwork. Okay. All right. Okay. So at least we're now clear about what your goals are. Goals are important because goals help you determine your direction. If you do not have a goal, then you're more likely going to stick to accept whatever comes your way. And it's not exactly bad, but it's not exactly great either. Now, I've encountered this photo many times. I ask people, I've been teaching for over 2 years. Like I've been teaching online for over 2 years. And I ask people what they're going to do once they get hired, what they're going to do once they start earning their own money. And a lot of us, we don't care. We just want to earn money. And some people want to save up to eventually buy a house. Some people usually guys want to buy a car. And some of you, especially if you're single, you might want to experience traveling for a few years. And these are good goals. A lot of the suffering that we go through is done so we can achieve our goals.
Yes, Mr. Kevin, yes. Got it.
Sure.
Yeah, here's the thing. Your situation is the result of all of your decisions 5 years ago. So whatever it is that you have now, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, this is the result of everything that you decided on 5 years ago. So if you look at your situation right now, whether it's great or it's not so great, you backtrack, you go back try to imagine what was I doing exactly 5 years ago. So right now it's 2021. 5 years ago is 2016. What were you doing in 2016? So try to think about that. What you've decided in 2016 ended up to how you're living your life in 2021. And that's the thing. If you if we go back to 2016 and you didn't have any goals, it means you didn't have any direction and you are here. You are where you are in 2021. So I guess some of you might have set some goals and you've already achieved it. And from personal experience, I've spoken to a lot of people. They don't set goals, so they do not. Um, I see on the chat. Uh, I don't think you need to use a headset. You can just use. You can put me on speaker. I don't really. I don't really use the slides that much, so you can just listen to the conversation as if you're on a call. Okay. So like think about your situation. And so we will be talking about what are your goals, what are the big details, what are the small details, what is the purpose of your goals, is your goal worthwhile, and we'll talk about your obstacles, good habits, resources, what's missing. And then we are also going to describe failure, and I'll teach you some basics about building a plan, and I'll teach you some big shortcuts. And at the end, I'm going to teach you a big secret. Okay? Can all of you guys hear me? You can reply on
Yes,
the
I
chat.
can hear you.
Yes.
I can hear
Yes,
you.
yes.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm here.
So, do you guys have a notebook with you? Because
Yes.
we're gonna do some
have.
writing.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that we're going to do in this session is I want you to think about this question on the screen. What are your goals? Like, yeah, sure. A lot of you have told me that you want to work in a call center. A lot of you have told me that you want to work as a VA or as a freelance professional, or some of you have told me that you want to work in IT or something like that. So, yeah, that's your goal. But I want you to look at your life as a whole. What are your mental development goals? What are your family and relationship goals? What are your career and professional goals? What are your financial goals? What are your health and fitness goals? What are your spiritual and personal goals? Because a lot of the a lot of the mistakes I encounter whenever I'm talking to people about goals is some people tend to focus on just one thing, but they do not look at their life as a whole. Okay. And we encounter a lot of problems when that happens. Uh, how many of you guys watch telenovelas, like teleserye in local TV? Like how many? Like you can reply here or you can reply in the chat. But I just want to know how many of you watch soap opera and stuff like that. I only watch anime. Okay, sure. But like I only watch anime, but I live in a house with my family members. So if they're watching something, I end up watching something. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh, one more. I have one more, Claudine A. All right. So the most common thing, the most common line, the most overused line in telenovela is, okay lang na mahirap tayo, importante magkakasama tayong pamilya. Like, I've heard that so many times ever since I was a kid, when my lola was watching soap opera, when my titos and titas were playing the soap opera in the background. I've heard that line so many times that I memorize it. Even if I'm not interested, if you hear something enough times, even if you're not interested, you're going to take that thing to heart. And a lot of Filipinos have that mindset. Okay lang na wala tayong pera, basta magkakasama tayong pamilya. Have you guys heard that line? Or ako lang?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we heard that
Yes, yeah.
too.
I heard
Yeah,
that.
I
Heard
heard
that too. Okay.
that
Oh,
line.
there you go. There's line.
So many times.
Okay. So that's a mindset. So if you have that belief, then your mindset is, yeah, I'm just gonna spend time with my family, and money is not gonna be important to me. Career is not gonna be important to me, right?
Right.
There's this
Heard
other
that.
line that I've also seen in telenovelas, or no, you don't see the line, you hear the line in telenovelas. Um, Sinasakripisyo ko lahat para mabuhay kayo, right? There's this other line. So you have, okay lang mahirap tayo, basta buuing pamilya, magkakasama tayong pamilya. The other line is, sinasakripisyo ko lahat, basta mabuhay kayo, right? The stereotypical martyr na parent, right? Have you ever heard that line before?
Yeah,
Have
sir.
you
Yes.
ever heard
Yes,
your parents recite that exact line before?
Yes.
yes.
That is the power of telenovelas. If they ever make a telenovela about business and success and all these being professional, then baka mag-transform yung Philippines. But right now, our line is,
Traditional.
bale nang wala tayong pera, magkakasama pamilya, isasakripisyo ko lahat, basta mabuhay kayo, right? So those are the two lines. So family and relationships. So people tend to sacrifice one, or sacrifice everything to achieve one, right? So some people will sacrifice everything for money, and some people will sacrifice money for their family. Now, how many people how many of you have been so busy that you forgot to shower that one day, or you forgot to brush your teeth, right? How many people, well, I'm sure walang aamin, but I've done that. That's happened to me. Like, I was so busy, I didn't leave my desk, I was just working, and I was eating on my desk, and I like, the time I stopped, I just went to sleep. And we all know that that's a bad idea, and sometimes I end up doing that. But it's a bad idea if you do that every day, because if you do that every day, there's gonna be some consequences, right? So if you look at your life, if you're going to set goals, do not just look at financial, do not just look at your relationship with your family. I want you to begin looking at your life as a whole. I want you to aim for the financial part. I also want you to aim for taking care of your family. I also want you to aim for professional growth. I also want you to aim for the spiritual and your personal goals and your health and fitness goals. Because here's the thing, let's say you sacrifice everything and you got the financial part, you got super rich, right? You got super rich, but you didn't take care of your health and fitness. You didn't exercise, you didn't eat healthy, you didn't get enough sleep. What's going to happen? all your money's gonna go to hospital bills. One day in a hospital is like 30,000 pesos one day. And if you have to stay in for a month in a hospital, it's gonna cost a lot of money, right? So think about that. So it's so you really need to learn how to manage your time and your resources. So what happens if you took care, you focus on the financial, but you forgot the spiritual and the personal, right? What's gonna happen there? You are eventually going to, you know, I'm, uh, I've encountered people who made a lot of money, but they don't have the spiritual part. So they spend money on casinos and hookers and stuff like that. So, and at the end, like they've earned a lot of money, but they're broke at the end because they spent their money on things that are not good for them long term. So you want to look at your life as a whole. So a lot of you may have trouble thinking about your big goals. So we're going to start with what are your small goals? Okay. What are your small goals? Who wants to share? Anyway, I'll go first. When I started working in a call center, one of my goals is to eventually buy a computer. So at the upper right corner of the screen, that's my first MacBook Pro. It's a 2009 model, and I bought it secondhand from a friend who's a photographer, and he's trying to get rid of it because he already had a new one. And then a few years back, I bought a couple of more laptops. Do you see the screen, the lower left corner of the screen? Do you see the bus with lots of people?
Yes.
That
Yes, I
is
see.
the corner of Sukat Highway. This is this is where you go
Paranaque.
to Makati. Yeah, that's the ride. That's the picture of my experience every day for almost 10 years. You have to go there and you have to fight for a bus seat, right? And yeah, and eventually, like I don't have a lot of big goals. I just want a computer. I want to buy a bike, and I want to eventually, when you set your goals, it shouldn't always be financial. Some of your goals need to be fun goals, like what activities will make you happy, right? Because in a lot of cases, the activities will give you more satisfaction than the possessions. So in my case, it's going out and riding my bike. That's an activity. It's going out and lifting weights, joining competitions. There's a photo of me. I was lifting like 365 pounds, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's a lot of these goals make you happier and it doesn't cost that much money. That bike cost me like 30,000, I think. But like I bought that installment. I bought that part by part and I assembled it, and it took me 6 months to assemble that bike. And then I used that in bike race. I used that in a lot of long distance bike rides. And then
Fixed bike.
yeah, it's a fixed gear bike. And then the weightlifting, I started going to this CrossFit gym and I was paying like 2,000 something a month. And then I just like that's my investment in my health. I just paid for the gym. So spend time thinking about the small details. What are your small goals? What are the small things that you'd like to buy? What are the small activities that you'd like to do and you'd like to experience? And because in a lot of cases, the bigger goals are often a combination of the small goals. So on your notebook, I'm gonna give you some time. What are the 25 small goals that you want to achieve? And just I'll give you like 1 minute to start. Uh, just start writing. What are the 25 small goals that you want to achieve? Like, do you want to travel? And do you want to do you want to climb a mountain? Do you want to join a fun run or a marathon? Do you want to ride a bike if you're interested in bikes? Do you want to learn how to drive? Do you want to learn how to cook? Right? So these goals are important. And the funny thing is, I bet that some of you might be thinking that, why are we talking about goals? The title said setting goals for your dream job. I'll get to that later. We have about 20 more seconds. Like, just you don't need to add in a lot of details. Just like write down, like, maybe you've never taken an airplane before or taken an airplane ride before. You want to go to Boracay, you want to go to Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, Japan. Just put that there. It's really important that you have goals written, because if the goals are in your mind, it's easy to forget. If the goals are written, you're going to remember. You'll have evidence that you wanted the goal. And it's a lot better that your goals are private instead of public, instead of telling your friends that, like, hey, my goal is to go here, my goal is to do this. It's always fun to talk about the goal after you're done, after you've already completed completed what you need to do. Okay, so now I want you to look at your list of small goals, and from that, try to determine what are your big goals. What are your big targets? What are the big things that you want to achieve? And think about that. Think about the top two most important details of your big goals. You don't need to write everything down right now, but, like, what are the two most important details? I'm gonna share something, and it's really personal, and I have difficulty sharing this because for the longest time I've been trying to get a job, and for the longest time I don't talk about my weaknesses. I have to sell myself. I have to talk about my strengths. So ever since I was young, my goal is to become independent. I didn't finish college. I needed a high paying job. I need skills and experience. And my goal was to get training. And I got training any way I can. If I don't have a lot of budget, I buy books. And if I do have some budget, I pay for training. I pay an instructor. And I spend my free time studying, and I do my best to squeeze in training as much as possible, because whenever I found myself not training, I found myself left behind. Right. And I also realized that as I train, I am way ahead the people who don't train. Having training is an unfair advantage, right? Like, for example, um, when I was younger, I got bullied a lot, and I took some martial arts classes. And after taking some classes, I won a lot of the I won a lot of the fights that I got into after I've taken some classes, and I've never lost a single one. And that's kind of the thing. if you have some training, you're always going to beat people. You're often going to beat people who don't have training. But in the same way, a professional chef can cook good quality meals. And if you compare that to a person who just watches YouTube, the professional chef is always going to win, right? Oh, by the way, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Still there?
Yes, Sir Kevin.
I put you to sleep. Anyway, so here's what I did. I said no to my friends and I sacrificed entertainment. That's the thing, right? Anyway, we'll get into that later. Uh, so the next question that I want you to ask is, who is your goal for? Are you alone, or do you already have a family? Do you have loved ones who you're working for? Right. So spend some time thinking about that. Who is your goal for? And then I also want you to start thinking about your obstacles. Like, what are your obstacles? Write that down. Write write your obstacles. So I talked about that. I didn't finish college. Right. I wrote that on my notebook. I didn't finish college. When I go to a job application, the interviewer is more likely to hire someone who finished college, and that's the truth, right? What are your obstacles? The more you think about your obstacles, the more you come prepared, right? So in a lot of cases, some of you don't want to work in a call center. Some of you want to be freelancers. So what are your obstacles? Maybe you already have VA skills. Maybe you've already taken some VA training. But do you know how to sell? Do you know how to present yourself? Do you have a website? Do you have a blog or a YouTube channel? Do you have a way for you to demonstrate that you already know what you say? Uh, do you have a way to demonstrate that you already have skills? So I'll give you one example. I didn't have I didn't have like a diploma, but I have a website, and the website has a demonstration of all of my skills. The website has I have video, so someone can say that, oh, you should hire me because I have good communication skills. But I have a video that has me explaining to people what I do. I have a video demonstration of me teaching someone what I do. I have a video of me talking about my background. And that's a lot better than saying, oh, you should hire me because I'm good in English. I have good communication skills, right? Start thinking about proof. So that's one consideration. The other thing that you need to think about is, what good habits do you need to develop, right? Some of you are here because you enrolled in my training. So what good habits do you need to develop? I already told you. Some of you need to spend time writing every day. Some of you need to spend time reading your sentences aloud. Some of you need some time listening to how you speak, right? Some of you need to look at your grammar, look at your sentences. Are you writing complete sentences? Does your sentences have complete thoughts? Does your sentence make sense? Are your sentences specific? Like, I've been talking about that. Like, I don't care if you paid me or if you haven't paid yet. Like, I'll let you know. You have to write every day. You have to inspect your sentences, and that's all you need to do. And that's what I teach when you enroll with me. And if you have enrolled with me, you need to inspect your sentences again and again. How good are you at writing sentences? And then after you've graduated from writing, How good are you at delivering your sentences? Is your pronunciation good? Word for word, is your pronunciation good already? If you're reading whole sentences, are your sentences sound okay? Like, do you have any pronunciation errors? And then finally, you're gonna add emotion to your sentences. Does your sentences sound sincere? So think about that. What good habits do you need to develop? Now, the other thing is, what bad habits will stop you? Okay, I'm gonna get this thing real quick. So this is my phone. I was at the kickboxing session earlier, and that's why I have the pod. I'm just gonna show you something real quick. This is a game called Summoner's War, and this game is enjoyable, but this game also takes a lot of time, and this is one of my biggest time wasters right now. So sometimes I play the game for more than 4 hours, and sometimes I stay up late at night just playing, and that's a problem. Like,
More on grinding time.
you don't have if you don't have the discipline, like things like these can ruin your life. I'm going to give you an example. One of my clients pay me $11 an hour. $11 is 500 550 pesos per hour. So let's say I spent the entire day playing Summoner's War. 550 times, I don't have oh yeah, I have a calculator here. 550 times 8 hours is 4,400 pesos, right? So if I spend one day playing Summoner's War or whatever game it is, or I spent one day playing YouTube, I have effectively thrown out 4,400 pesos, right? How many of you want 4,400 pesos?
Me.
Yeah, you. Okay.
Ella.
So, yeah, there you go. There you go. So, some of you, instead of playing a game, maybe your problem is watching anime or K drama or something. 1 hour is worth something. If you're a beginner in the on if you're a call center agent earns roughly $3 an hour. That's 150 pesos. So it's 150 times 8. That's 1,200 pesos. Okay. Oh, sorry. My phone talks for me sometimes. So 1,200 pesos for 8 hours of watching TV. Now, if you are an entry level freelancer, entry level work is $4 per hour. $4 per hour. Sorry. So that's 200 pesos times 8 is 1,600 pesos. How many of you have ever experienced losing more than 1,000 pesos? Like you have 1,000 pesos and it fell, or you lost your wallet. You ever experienced that? Like I've lost a wallet once, and it feels like crap to lose that money. And but we don't feel bad when we spent the entire day just just focusing on entertainment. So think about that. on your notebook, write down what kind of bad habits are going to stop you. And then for your goals, I want you to think, what resources do you need? What's missing? What skills do you need to have in order to succeed? What software, if you want to, if you want to be a freelancer, what kind of software do you need to learn how to do? Like maybe some of you would like to learn how to do Photoshop or something like that. Think about that. What resources do you need? And then the other thing is, what resources do you have? That's the other thing that you need to start writing down. What resources do you have? And so in my case, I have a computer, I have a phone, I have a fast internet connection. I have a quiet place where I can have video calls like these. I have a bunch of different gadgets that can help me work freelance. So yeah, like I've already bought what I needed to buy. In your case, what do you need to buy so you can achieve your goals? What skills do you need to have in order to achieve your goals? And maybe the problem is, some of you are thinking negatively. Some of you think that you're not, um, you don't have anything to contribute. You don't have anything to, to push you forward. So if you haven't already done so, you can download my book. This book will help you become more aware of your resources and help build your confidence. So the title of the book is Small Book of Blessings: How to Convince the Interviewer That You're the Perfect Fit for the Job. Go download that book. It's free on my website, callcentertrainingtips.com. And yeah, I'll stop there. And then we're going to talk about this super weird topic. It's weird because no one likes talking about this. So we already discussed, what does success look like? What are the small elements that you need to look at for you to succeed? And then I want you to think about, what does failure look like? Right? What does failure look like? Who wants to share? What does failure look like? Who wants to describe failure?
Hello, sir. I'll share. Okay.
Okay.
For me, failure for me, if I'm not gonna get my goal, I will be stuck in my situation.
You'll be
Like,
stuck in. So for you,
yes,
being stuck in your situation is failure.
yes, not
Okay. Yeah. Especially if you're in a bad situation and you get stuck, that, like, that's really bad, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, who wants to give another example?
Can I?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. For me, failure is like if you're stagnant in the same situation, if you're not progress, if you don't see yourself a progress,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
If you don't see yourself, you don't experience progress, that's
yeah,
failure. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of like being stuck as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I it it's it feels horrible if you're stuck, right?
And if you feel like, and if you felt like you're not con- contributing to your family, I mean,
That's painful.
yeah, that's very painful.
I
That's
have this.
why,
Oh, go ahead. That's why.
yeah, that's why I'm assessing myself. What
Mhm.
should I do with this kind of situation?
Okay.
To yeah,
Okay.
for
Um.
me, that is a failure.
Mhm. Okay. one of my experiences when I was new in the call center, I was at training, and one of my close friends, her father was hospitalized, and ran out of they ran out of money, and the father needs to undergo dialysis. And for some reason, I don't really know. I don't really know why, but like that's my friend, and I wanted to help. I gave my last money. I went to Laguna from Makati and gave my last 1.5. And when I got there, um, my friend was crying because the 1.5 that I gave them was
Not enough.
like that was the last money that they need to get her dad dialysis.
Okay.
And I'm glad I went, but I'm also ashamed because my friend has done a lot for me, but I've only given them 1.5, right? So nakakahiya because I didn't have a lot of money to help. And ever since, I told myself, oh yeah, that the ending of the story is my friend's dad passed away.
Mm.
I'm sorry for.
Um, but after that dialysis session, we her dad's life got extended by another few days, and that was really important for them. But for me, what stuck to me is I need to save money. I should stop spending my money irresponsibly. I need to have money in the bank just in case I encounter situations like that, because that's just my friend. Like, if we're being honest, it's not really going to be a big deal if anything happens to them. But sooner or later, we're all human. We all have families. People get old. And when people get old, people are going to get sick. Eventually, that's going to happen to my family. And I need to prepare for that. And eventually it did. My dad, my dad also had to go through dialysis, and my dad eventually passed away. And we're all going to experience that. So I really that line in the soap opera na paling wala tayong pera basta sama-sama tayo. Like, you can be you can someone fell asleep. I'm just gonna mute. Uh you can be you can work. You can work to have money. You can also be with your family even if you have work. It's all a matter of not it's all a matter of sacrificing something else. And anyway, for what does failure look like? Some of you, it's not moving forward. But for some of you, if you're more ambitious, it's going to be painful knowing that you can afford all of these, but you're never gonna have it, right? You've set your goals, but you didn't do what you have to do. That could be failure for you. If you have high ambition, if you have a strong ambition in your heart, and you don't do something about it, you're gonna spend the rest of your life experiencing envy, because you're gonna some of your batchmates are gonna succeed, right? For me, this is what failure looks like: high stress, low paying, entry level jobs, right? I've stayed there. My first job is a promodizer. I was working in the mall. You have to work mall hours. You have to be there from opening up to closing. The mall opens at 10, but you have to be there at 9 because you need to clean up the space, and you know, you're the salesperson, but you're also the janitor. I've experienced living in a hole in the wall, like a room that can only fit a bed. I've experienced living in a place like that, and I've experienced the commute taking the MRT. Do you guys see the picture there? And that's gonna lead into depression eventually. Like, look at this guy in the photo. This is not me. I just took this on the internet. This guy looks depressed, but he has a nice watch, right? So picture depression. Like, look at this guy, but try to imagine that there's no watch. Okay. So what's the goal? What are we gonna do? Just the goal is to build a plan. And when you build a plan, you need to be smart. And be smart stands for something. And if you if you finish college, if you've taken some marketing subjects or some sales and marketing subjects, you already know this. So be smart means begin with the end in mind. Be specific. Your plans need to be measurable, attainable, or achievable. It has to be realistic and time bound. Okay. So we're going to start here. We've already done the first part. Begin with the end in mind. I want you to describe in your notebook what does success look like. I also want you to describe what does failure look like. And then eventually I want you to be specific. During this session, we're just adding in the rough details, but on your personal time, go back to your notes. Try to make your goals as specific as possible, right? Your goals need to be measurable. What does measurable mean? I want to make a lot of money. That's not very specific and that's not very measurable either. Your goal needs to be specific and measurable. So my goal is to earn 25,000 a month, or my goal is to earn 25,000 every cutoff, or every 15 days, or whatever, or every week if you're already at that level, right? It has to be measurable. Some people tell me, I'm already looking for work. I'm making an effort. I'm sending my job application. So when I change my question, how many job applications are you sending out every day? I don't get an answer. We usually end up with an awkward silence. How many companies do you go to every week? How many interviews do you get every week? Awkward silence. Your goals need to be measurable. Your plan needs to be measurable. So if my goal is to get hired, then my goal is to go to 16 interviews. And to get to 16 interviews, I send somewhere around 200 to 300 online job applications. Okay? It has to be measurable. You need to measure your actions in terms of numbers. Next, your goal needs to be attainable. Now, some of you, if you have high ambition, my goal is to be a millionaire. My goal is to earn 100,000 pesos a month. My goal is to earn whatever per month, like whatever bullshit per month. But that's not going to happen. Your goal needs to be attainable in a sense that, let's say you have an online business, and let's say your goal is to earn 100,000 a month. If you start from zero, 100,000 a month is impossible. It's difficult. Like, maybe you can achieve it by luck or good fortune, but that's not what happens in real life. What happens in real life is your first goal is to sell 1,000 pesos. Your next goal is to sell 2,000 pesos. Your next goal is to sell maybe 3, 4, 5,000. Eventually, your goal is to sell 10,000 pesos, right? You have to start small. For your goals to be attainable, you need to start small, okay? A lot of you are aiming for a job that pays 25,000 pesos a month, but currently you're earning zero. And that's painful. It feels impossible to aim for a job that's 25,000 a month if you're earning zero. So, what should be your goal? Your goal is to earn the first income that you can earn. So maybe it's just 18,000. Like, sure, aim for 18,000, aim for 16,000 if that's what you can get. And maybe your skills aren't enough. Maybe you've run out of time. Maybe you've run out of time and the only job you can get is a minimum wage job, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Get the first job that you can get and then aim higher. Use your rest day, use your off days to get a higher paying job. So if I ran so short example, one time I ran out of money. Okay? I ran out of money and I saw a job posting hiring English tutor. We pay 200 pesos per hour. We're gonna hire you for 2 hours, 3 times a week. So that's 600 pesos a week. Okay, fine. I'm gonna take that job and use the money from that job to get another job. And that's what I did. I have this English tutorial 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then I got this other job. I used the 600 pesos to pay for my transportation in my other job. And that's how I climbed up the ladder, so to speak. And eventually the ending there is I got a job that paid like 47,000 a month. But that's another long story, but I'm gonna skip that. Your goal needs to be realistic. You need to start with what you can achieve now, and you need to aim low. You need to set your goals to what you can achieve today. What you need to set your goals to what you can achieve this week. If the answer is it's going to take me more than a month to achieve this goal, then that is a bad goal. You stop doing that goal. You need to achieve something first, and then you'll be able to build confidence. When my current asking price when I accept clients online is $16 an hour. Okay. But when I started, I was only working $3 an hour. So I got a $3 an hour job. And then while I was working at that $3 an hour job, I was looking for a client that would pay me $4. And then when I got the $4 an hour job, I was looking for a client that offered to pay me $5 or $6. When I got that $5 to $6 job, I was looking for $8. And then I went higher and higher and higher. And that's how it is. If your income is zero and then you're aiming high, then you're not gonna get anywhere. Right? You're not gonna get anywhere. And maybe some of you are not hitting your goals because you're aiming too high. You need to aim low and then you need to slowly aim higher. Okay? That's what it means to be realistic. And that's also what it means to be time bound. Your goals need to have a deadline. If your goal doesn't have a deadline, it's not a very good goal. If your goal doesn't have a deadline, you're more likely going to procrastinate. Okay? Your goal needs to have a consequence. Okay, next. A lot of times the problem is not a lack of resources. A lot of times the problem is a lack of prioritization, right? Can you guys say the word prioritization?
Prioritization.
Yeah, it's
Prioritization.
prioritization.
Good.
Prioritization.
No, it has to be prioritization. You need to know this word, man. You need to know this word because this
Prioritization.
word is very powerful during interviews. Like I've convinced interviewers to hire me because of the word prioritization. Okay, but that's for another. That's for another session. I ask you to write down your top 25 goals. Write down your top 25 goals, but work on your top 5. The top 5 most important goals are your priority. Do not work on anything new until you've achieved your top 5. So let's say your goal is to get a job, and one of your goals is to get So your goal is to get a job, and maybe your goal is also to, if you have an opportunity, work for a call center that pays a lot of money. And then your goal is also eventually to become an online freelancer. And then your goal is to eventually to become an online entrepreneur, maybe sell products or services online, have a service agency or something like that. Yeah, that's all in the future. Stick to your top 5 goals. If you do not have money for resources, if you can't buy a computer, if you can't pay for software, if you can't pay for training or stuff like that, get a job first, right? Get a job first. And once you have achieved that, you can aim higher, right? If you can't exercise, if you can't do push-ups, you can walk first. If you can't walk 1 kilometer, walk for 10 meters and then 20 meters. Just do what you can do right now and then aim a little higher as you achieve more things. Okay? Now we're going to talk about shortcuts to success. Okay? Shortcuts to success. Do you see the small letters at the bottom?
Yeah. It's a
What does it say?
H-A.
Ha ha ha, right? Ha ha ha. Because you know the shortcut to success? Who wants to know?
I want to know.
Time.
Who want to know?
No shortcut to success.
Yeah. There are no
There's
shortcuts
no
to success.
shortcuts. Yeah, I believe in
Shortcut
that.
to success. 99% failure statistic. This is what I teach. 99% failure statistic. 99% of the people who join are going to fail, right? So I have 41,000 followers on my Facebook page, and I only have like 100 something testimonials. What does that mean?
Also your follower.
99% of the people fail. Now, this statistic is not new. If someone has ever tried to sell insurance to your family, they're going to show you the same statistic. 99% of people do not have money when you reach age 65. If you go to, what's the business department in the Philippines? The SEC or the BIR or the DTI, 99% of businesses are going to fail in 10 years, right? If you have ever taken a sales job, they're gonna tell you 99% of the prospects, of the people that you try to sell to are not going to buy. And then you're also going to notice that 99% of all people who get into sales do not succeed or do not sell anything. So the big question is, let's go back to my first lesson. Your situation is the result of all your decisions 5 years ago, okay? You're aiming for this. 100% of the people are aiming for success, but 99% of people will experience this failure, right? I left a clue. Here. This is the summary of everything we've talked about. Do you see the picture in the middle? Do you know who these characters are?
Super Mario.
Super Mario.
For Mario.
Or age.
Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't watch that.
Right?
Mobile Legends.
One of my mentors taught me that if you want to set effective goals, you need to design heaven, but you also need to design hell. So heaven is above and hell is below. And you always have 2 options every day. Every day is an opportunity. 2 options. You can go with the picture on the right. You see that cute Korean girl on the right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You see that Filipino on the left? What's he doing?
Yes.
Playing.
MOBA.
Right? You
It's
recognize
playing.
that picture?
Yeah.
Like I don't even need to tell you what game it is. And you
MOBA.
see the arrow, right? Where does one lead and where does the other lead? Every day you have to decide if you have a game on your phone, you know, how are you going to play today, right? Your situation is the result of all of your decisions 5 years ago. When I started, I had no like no I guess I could say that I don't have formal education because I've only had 1 year in college. And what did I sacrifice from age 20, no, from age 17 until age and until maybe my 30s. I stopped I stopped playing games. I stopped all of my hobbies. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped practicing martial arts, but I kind of wish I continued practicing martial arts then because that would be another income source. But I stopped all forms of entertainment and I studied. And eventually I got to the job that I wanted, the job that I wanted. I have a reputation for having poor communication skills, but all of my jobs required good communication skills. And you've been listening to me for the past I don't know how long. Do I have bad communication skills? Like at this point, right? So that's the only thing. It's this is just what I want to leave you. You set your goals, you build your plan, and then you do this, right? Can you guys read what's on the screen?
Practice.
Practice,
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 practice.
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 Yeah. And then you have to practice with integrity. What is integrity?
Integrity is what you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah, it's doing what you say you're going to do, whether people are looking at you or not. Integrity is, yeah, here, what you do when nobody's looking. What are you doing when nobody's looking? I'm not gonna ask you to answer that because whether you like it or not, we're all going to know the answer in the next 5 years. So that's it. We're gonna go to Q&A. And I guess the first question here is um, the first question here is what does this have to do with getting a job? So the first thing is you need to set your goals, you build a plan, and then you go get a job. Now sometimes, well, no, not sometimes. When you pass the interview, when you pass the behavioral and the skill screening, the next question the interviewer has is what's your expected salary and where do you see yourself 5 years from now or 10 years from now, depending on how much salary they're going to give you. The higher the salary they're going to give you, the more time frame they're going to ask. So where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Or in some situations, where do you see yourself 20 years from now? And if you don't have an answer, you're going to have a big problem, right? Companies want to hire people who are going to stay with them long term, right? If you're single right now, do you want a partner who's going to stay with you for 1 month or for the rest of your life? And it's kind of the same thing with jobs. Companies want people who are going to stay with them for a long time, for as long as possible, right? All things being perfect, they want you to stay with them as long as possible. So, how are you going to convince them? Your goals, your personal goals need to match your career goals. Okay? So, for example, if you do not have goals and you tell the interviewer, oh, I don't care how much you pay me, then that's a bad idea because it means that you don't have goals. There's no promise that you're going to do your best. And there's also no proof that you're gonna stay if things get hard. But if you tell your interviewer that, oh, I want to buy a house, a car, and I want to travel the world, then depending on what kind of arrangement, if you're getting a freelance job, that's fine. But if you're getting a call center job, that's a bad idea because they need you to go to the office. They need to, if you're working home based, they need you to be at home. They need you to be in a spot that has perfect internet connection. In my case, that's not a problem anymore because I work freelance, and the kind of job that I take does not require a strong internet connection. So anyway, that's it. I hope I've answered all of the career part in that section. Let's go with your questions. You can ask, you can just speak, or you can leave your question in the chat if you're worried about how you sound. So I'm just gonna open the floor for questions, and yeah, sure, let's go. You guys okay?
Hello, sir.
All right. So who has a question?
We're thinking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sir, what are your tips so that I could improve my pronunciation and grammar, sir?
Pronunciation. For pronunciation, it's usually repetition. You need to get used to using the word. So I recommend that you write the sentences often and read your sentences aloud. A lot of my improvement has come from improving my grammar through writing and speaking what I've written down. So it's just a cycle of writing and speaking, right? So you've enrolled with me, and you've taken my training. Um, what did we do? I ask you to write things, and I ask you to read what you've written down, and that's just a cycle. And you do that enough times, you're gonna get better. The other thing that you can do is you can observe patterns in how people speak. I don't recommend watching movies or watching shows because you are observing patterns that have no application in your situation. So if you are looking for work, you need to master writing about your introduction. My name is Kevin. I live in Parañaque. I want to work in a call center because of the high pay and the call centers have a reputation of paying well and paying on time all the time, and I enjoy working at night. So I've written those sentences so many times that I'm so used to saying that. um, my name's Kevin. I'm a freelance virtual assistant and project manager. I'm also a freelance writer. I like I enjoy writing and observing different entrepreneurs, and I make my money by assisting entrepreneurs and removing their taking their responsibilities from them. And that's all I say in my interviews, my freelance interviews, and I get jobs doing that. I'd like to audition as your project manager. I'd like to. I have a 1 minute video about that. Like I have that video where I talk about my introduction as a freelancer. It's on our YouTube channel. So yeah, you need to master your introduction. You also need to get used to asking questions. Okay. Um, you need to get used to asking questions You need to get used to telling stories. And as I see a lot of you are from the English lesson. So you've heard my story and you've heard some of my stories that I've shared here. I've also shared some of those stories on the English lessons. So it's the same thing. The more used you are to sharing the stories, the better it is for you. What else? Oh, yeah, more questions.
Ako, sir, I have a question.
Okay,
Do you hear me, sir?
yeah, I hear you.
What should I do to fix my vocabulary?
Mm, it depends on what you want to say. You need to know what you want to say before you add to your vocabulary. One of the problems that I encounter during the English lessons is a lot of people are aiming to improve their vocabulary, but not a lot of people are aiming or have a purpose for improving their vocabulary, right? Yeah, sure. You want to improve your vocabulary to speak better English, but the
Yes.
question is, what are you trying to say first? Right? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to introduce yourself? Are you trying to ask a question? Are you trying to give instructions? Or are you trying to share stories? So that's the first question that I want you to answer. What are you trying to do? Okay. And then once you've decided what you're trying to do, write your introduction, write your questions, write your instructions, write your stories, and then look at your sentences. Which sentences need to have a better vocabulary?
That's a good way.
Which sentences need to have better words? And that's when you upgrade your vocabulary, right? When you say that you want to upgrade your vocabulary, it's without having a specific purpose. It's like going to a hardware store. It's like going to a supermarket, but you don't know what to buy, right? You don't know what to buy. So the question is, what are you going to upgrade first? What is the purpose? Okay, next question.
Hello,
Yep. Who's this?
I have a question, sir. I
Okay.
watched your video about the communication problem,
Mhm.
the communication skills problem that
Okay.
you said that the prob the problem is that is not one huge problem. The
Yeah.
problem is many small problems in the communication skills. What
Okay.
I want to know what are those small problems?
Ah, okay. It depends. What's the big problem first? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna give you some examples, but let me know if I
Yes,
understand.
yes.
Okay. So let's say your problem is you have poor communication skills. Okay. That's the one big problem. What are the small problems with the communication skills? There are two sub problems. The first problem is grammar. The second problem is pronunciation. Okay. So when it comes to pronunciation, what problems do you have? Are you having problems when you're speaking whole sentences? Are you having problems adding the proper tone to your voice? Are you having problems with specific words? Okay, so those are the small problems in the pronunciation. When it comes to the specific words, are you having problems saying the common words, or are you having problems saying the difficult, unusual, or uncommon words? So that's the whole pronunciation part. Now for the grammar part, what are your problems with your grammar? Are you having problems writing long paragraphs? Are you having problems writing long sentences? Are you having problems writing short sentences? Right? Are you having problems with simple sentences? Okay. And then it goes a little smaller. Are you having problems deciding on the verb? Are you having problems deciding on whether it's past, present, or future? Are you having problems with a preposition like with in, on, or at? Are you having problems with what do you call that? With active and passive voice, like which goes first, like who is the doer of the action or who is the receiver of the action? And then, it gets smaller and smaller. And as you solve the small problems, you end up fixing the big problem, right? So if you're enrolled in our program, we go through the small problems one at a time. We remove the most common problems so you can master the most important uh, small skills, and that eventually gives you good communication skills or fix the problem of having poor communication skills.
Can I ask?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Hi there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a problem. Yeah. My problem is when it comes to speaking. Whenever I encounter a new friends, and whenever I speak, they they telling me, "Hey, are you mad?" Or yeah, are you angry? Because the tone of my voice is, you know, it's like I'm mad, I'm angry, like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know how to. Should I fix my intonation first?
Well, the first thing is if the first question that you need to answer is, are you a shy person, or are you an introvert, or are you an extrovert? That's the first question that I'm going to ask. If you're an introvert, I always recommend that you increase the volume. You speak at the maximum volume. But if you're after you've gotten used to speaking at the maximum volume, the next thing that you need to learn is how to adjust your tone of voice. There's a different tone of voice if you're stating a fact. There's a different tone of voice if you're asking a question. There's a different tone of voice if you're presenting. There's a different tone of voice if you are just having a chat or if you're just telling a story. Okay. Now, you have noticed that when I was speaking, I was going from high energy to low energy to, like, it goes up and down. And it depends on what you're saying. If I'm talking about something positive, I try to speak with a high energy. If I'm talking about something that's a little negative or if it's a little depressing, I lower my energy to match the topic that I'm speaking about, right? I
Yeah.
don't start my conversation with, "Uy, alam mo ba yung best friend ko kakamatay lang niya, ang saya-saya." You don't talk like that. It's like, "Oh, my friend died or my friend passed away." Low energy, right? If you're in a call center, um, thank you for calling. My name's Kevin. How can I help you? High energy. The caller tells me, I have a problem with the product that I bought from you. My response is not, oh, you have a problem with the product? I'm so excited. That's not the response. The response is, oh, you have a problem. I'm sorry to hear about that. Don't worry. You've reached the right department. I'll help you out. Lower energy and I should sound more concerned. So you need to match your tone of voice for the situation that you're going to be in. Okay? So
Okay.
so think about that. What situations did people say that you sound like you're starting a fight or that you're upset or you're angry? And then maybe adjust the energy or adjust the tone of voice. You don't know how to, that's okay. You can experiment.
Oh, okay.
Did I get to answer your question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Last question. And then let's have a group photo or something.
Do you have a recommended book, sir, for
Recommend.
intermediate?
I'm selling a book. I'm selling it for 667. It has all of my call center knowledge and all of my job application knowledge. The book is like 1,300 pages. So it has everything. It took me 10 years to write that book. And if you buy the book, I'm going to support your job application for 6 months.
Whoa, that was nice.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kevin, I already buy your book, so you,
I
you
know.
have to, yeah.
Yeah, you're sending me your answers, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, last question. And then let's have a group photo or something.
Hey guys, anyone?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Regarding po sa, sorry, Tagalog na lang ako. Yung sa resume ko po, kasi di ba, okay lang po ba yung in this topic po or out of topic na po yung question ko dun sa resume ko?
Oh, wait. Sorry. Pakiulit.
Yung sa question ko po kasi yung sa resume ko po.
Okay.
Yung kasi nag-ano po ko ng guide ay yung sa price niyo po. Na yung question ko po na to, okay na po ba kahit hindi ito sa topic na to or ano po?
Well, better kung related sa topic yung ano.
Ay, sorry.
You can email me. Sumasagot naman ako sa email. Dun sa hindi pa nag-ask, sino yung gusto magpahabol ng question or sino yung mahilig manulit? Tanong ka na.
Okay po. Ako na lang yung sa confidence. Sa confidence po. Ayun. Paano po mag-gain yung confidence?
Practice, tsaka knowledge. Kung wala kang knowledge, wala ka talagang confidence. Knowledge,
Sir.
experience, plus
Sir,
practice. O yun, may
I
habol.
have a question. Bakit ba ako nagda-lack of words?
Lack of words. Kulang
Yes.
ka sa practice.
Practice.
Diba?
Ginagawa ko naman. Nanonood ako ng lots of YouTube sites like English 101. Pero
Teka lang,
wala. Hindi pumasok.
enrolled ba siya? So, yun. So, enrolled ka pala sa akin. So,
Yes.
hindi ko alam kung nabasa mo na yung lesson na yun. Pero, ang recommendation ko, number 1, huwag kang manonood ng YouTube ng iba. Number 2, huwag kang manonood ng English movies at TV shows habang enrolled ka sa akin. Kasi,
Wise.
kung ang recommendation ko is, yung oras mo, kailangan mong i-google sa pagsusulat at pagbabasa ng lesson. Kailangan mong maintindihan yung fundamentals. Ang YouTube at ang English movies, English TV shows, K-drama, anime, hindi siya training material.
It's all about listening, no?
Ang primary, listening lang, nakikinig ka lang, passive. 'Di ba? Let's say,
Yes.
let's say tayong dalawa, meron tayong big fight.
Okay.
Makakaboxing natin si Manny Pacquiao. Pag nanalo tayo, meron tayong 1 billion pesos. Pero masusuntok talaga tayo ni Manny Pacquiao.
Okay.
Ngayon, dalawa yung option natin. Magte-training tayo sa boxing camp ng 6 months. Kasi in boxing camp, pupunta tayo sa boxing gym, may makakasparing tayo na boxing, mga boxing coach, boxing instructor. Tapos, option 2, libre lang. Manonood lang tayo ng YouTube at manonood lang tayo ng mga boxing movies. Manonood tayo ng Rocky. Basta lahat ng sikat na boxing movies papanoorin natin. Anong strategy yung magwawagi? Yung magte-training ka ng actual o yung aaliwin mo lang yung sarili mo ng mga boxing videos?
Manood.
Magte-training ng actual.
Pwede rin yung aluwin, sir, kasi may nakukuha ako rin.
So hindi mo pa nagigets yung lesson na tinuturo ko.
Build yung strength and you practice a lot.
So yung mga
Practice actual.
Bakit mas importante ang actual kaysa sa panonood ng video?
Mas madami kang matututunan, sir. Pag actual.
Ikaw kasi yung gumagalaw eh. Iba yung nanonood ka lang. Iba yung nanonood ka lang ng tips, sasalita,
Yeah.
nakikinig ka lang.
I see.
Binubukay mo yung bibig mo, ginagamit mo yung kamay mo para magsulat. Magkaiba yun eh. Lahat ng confidence nanggagaling sa personal experience, hindi sa experience ng tao. Hindi sa experience ng ibang tao.
Diba?
Yung tatay ko, businessman, marami siyang business advice, marami siyang financial advice, marami siyang tinuro sa akin, pero iba nung ako na yung gumagawa. Sabi niya sa akin, itabi mo yung sahod mo, wag mo gagastusin lahat ng pera mo. Nung natanggap ko yung sahod ko, anong ginawa ko? Ginastos ko lahat. Binigyan niya ako ng pera. Binigyan niya ako ng extra 5,000. Tabi mo yan para pag may emergency ka. Ang ginawa ko dun sa 5,000, winaldas ko. Iba pag ikaw yung gumagawa, dun sa nanonood ka lang or nakikinig ka lang sa ibang tao. And I'm sure, like some of you, parents na. Diba? Iba yung nakinig kayo dun sa advice ng parents nyo kung paano nyo palakihin yung kids nyo. Iba yung nung may kid na kayo. Iba yung experience, right? So in the same way, iba yung manonood ka lang. Most of the time, wala ka talagang mapapala doon. And kung nag-enroll ka, sorry. Sorry. Meron pa akong next na gagawin. Anyway, iba talaga siya. Iba talaga siya when you are doing it yourself. And iba siya when you are just watching someone do it. Kahit gaano kang kagaling, kahit gaano karaming boxing videos yung panoorin mo, hindi ka gagaling unless you are moving your hands. Same thing, communication. If you're not opening your mouth, if you're not speaking, you're not gonna get better. Diba? Bakit ganito ako mag-English? Bakit ganito ako kasanay magsalita? Bakit hindi ako nauubusan ng words? Gano'ng katagal ako nag-pause pag iniisip ko yung sinasabi ko? Lampas ba ng 10 seconds? Hindi naman, diba? Because I've been doing this for a long time. Tignan mo kung ano yung start date ng YouTube channel ko, ano yung start date ng website ko. Mas-search yun. Parang how long has the website been up? How long has the YouTube channel been up? Tignan mo yung pinakaunang video ko sa YouTube. Nakakahiya. Mahiyain ako magsalita. Makikita mo yun. Ang dami kong pause, ang dami kong Right? And it's all practice. Kung iiwasan mo yung practice, iiwasan mo siya in exchange for entertainment, balik tayo sa picture na to. balik tayo sa picture na to. You can study, you can do things, or you can just entertain yourself. Most of the time, entertainment yung sisira sa'yo. But that's from my personal experience. Anyway, picture na tayo. Tapos kung may hahabol na questions, email na lang kayo. Sagutin ko naman yung email. Okay.
How about the Mac call, sir? Can you give me a tips?
Mac call, yeah.
The Mac call.
Email mo ako. Replyan kita.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Paano ba yung Paano yung picture dito? I-screenshot ko lang. Hindi naman. Meron bang yung view na kita ko sa nung. Ha? Nagganon ba kayo nung online class ko? Ano to? Hindi, naka-record naman to. Okay, so wala nang picture. Anyway, thanks for joining. So, inaantay na ako sa labas. Meron akong boxing class.
Thank you, Sir Gabby.
Yeah. See ya. Ay, o nga pala, yung gustong sumali, gustong umabol mamaya, alam ko yung iba sa inyo nag-enroll dun sa
Paid.
other topic. Yeah, yung sa paid. So, yun, mamaya tuloy tayo. So, kita na lang tayo mamaya.
Thank you, Sir Gabby.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Much
sir. Ang cute mo.
appreciated.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm out.
Bye-bye.